Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. October 1st kicked off the Toys for Tots 2020 holiday campaign running through Christmas. U.S. Marines and volunteers will be conducting 810 local toy collection and distribution campaigns in all 50 states, Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, Guam, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Joining me to discuss how we can all get involved is retired Lieutenant General Jim Laster, President and CEO of Toys for Tots. Welcome to Trade Talks, and on behalf of veterans at Nasdaq, it's an honor to support Toys for Tots and have you join us.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks for having me on to talk about our story here at Marine Toys for Tots Foundation.
Yeah, tell us more about the objective and history behind it.
Well, a little bit of history. We actually go back to 1947, and it started when a Marine Reserve Major by the name of Bill Hendricks, who later retired as a colonel in the Marine Corps Reserve, he was in a unit in Los Angeles. He was also in his civilian career in the film industry. And he was very bothered by the poverty in the Los Angeles area. So a few days prior to Christmas, he and his wife would go out and they would collect toys. And then on Christmas morning, he would put on his dress blues and he would go out and distribute these toys to less fortunate children. And so over a couple of years, it caught on where other Marines in the reserve unit wanted to also take part in this. And then it got the attention of Walt Disney. And he knew Walt Disney in the film industry. And one day, Walt Disney invited him to lunch and said, "Tell me more about what you're doing here distributing toys at Christmas time." And so he told him. And Walt Disney actually got out a napkin and kind of doodled the little red train that says Toys for Tots on it, and also gave it its title, Toys for Tots. And so Walt Disney from that day actually committed Disney Corporation in supporting and sponsoring Toys for Tots. And to this day, they're still one of our corporate sponsors. Over the years, it continued to grow. Shortly after the Korean War, it got the attention of our Commandant, General Cates, who said, now with the military drawing down across our country, it's probably good for the Marine Corps to stay connected to the American public, and this is a great way to do that. So it was at that time that General Cates made it an official activity of the United States Marine Corps, and specifically tasked the Marine Corps Reserve as one of their missions. So over the years, we continued to grow. In the late 80s, early 90s, the Marine Corps decided that it was probably to the level, especially with donations and so on, that the Marine Corps as a federal entity shouldn't be involved with that other than supporting with the collection and the distribution of toys. And so they asked a lieutenant general who was retiring at the time, Lieutenant General Matthew Cooper, if he, in retirement, would take over the Toys for Tots program and form a foundation, a 501c3. So General Cooper did that. He incorporated us here in the state of Virginia. And so the rest is history. It's continued to grow over the years. We have numerous corporate sponsors that help us with donations and support our activities. We have also, just in the last few years, entered into a partnership with UPS Store with a literacy program, where year-round, not just at Christmas time, we support less fortunate children with books and materials. In fact, this past 3 months during the pandemic, I called our staff together and I said, you know, there's probably a lot of fear and anxiety out there with children right now. To make matters worse, their parents are probably laid off from work. So we need to step in and see what we can do. So over those 3 months, we actually distributed a little over 2 million books, toys, puzzles to less fortunate children across our country. During that period of time, we also partnered with another nonprofit called Good 360. They had a distribution network that was on very short notice, was able to distribute that for us. And since then, our partnership with them has actually grown. And although I think everyone realizes that we are a Christmas time charity, I think there's much more that we can do. And Good 360 and I are talking about that now. perhaps even when the timing is right during a natural disaster, not to get into the way of first responders or emergency relief personnel. But at a certain point, there's probably a lot that we could do to bring emotional support, especially to children at a time like that. And so we're working on some concepts so that, yes, our base is Christmas time, but there's probably other things that we can do year-round to support less fortunate children.
And that's one of the remarkable things about COVID-19 is for organizations looking to find that silver lining, because we've learned so much about who we are as a society and what we're capable of when we come together and support each other as Americans, as one unit. And my question to that is, we know that you're working with other organizations, so it's not just a Christmas time impact, but with COVID-19, has it impacted the Toys for Tots effort at all? Is there anything viewers should be aware of as they think about going to donation centers or collecting toys and the safety and sanitization behind it? Has anything changed from traditional efforts?
The guidance that I have given to all of our coordinators, and this year we will have 807 campaigns across the nation. All totaled, we think we have about 30,000 civilian volunteers. It's very difficult for me here in our foundation headquarters in Triangle to micromanage that because all the states are different. And so the guidance that I have given is try your best to have a normal campaign, although we understand that certain governors and local authorities will probably not allow that. And so we have given them a set of models, so to speak, business models, and how to do collection and distribution in a safe and responsible manner. I think there's some areas that there will probably be no change at all, other than social distancing, wearing a mask, and so on. But some places may be more difficult, and we are prepared to actually purchase more toys and books and push them to have distributed, so they won't have to necessarily worry about the collection. But what I would tell everyone in the general public is the generosity during this time. I thought we were going to see a dip in donations. We really haven't. And so I say thank you to the general public, to Americans, for stepping up and continuing to support less fortunate children during this very bad time. But what I would also say is we are purchasing more toys this year. We also distributed during the pandemic 2 million toys and books that we were actually holding as carryover inventory to use this Christmas. So we need to replenish those stocks, so to speak. So I would ask the general public to please, if they see a toy collection box in a store, in a retail store, to please think about buying a toy and dropping it, or a book and dropping it into the box. If the traditional collections are not occurring in their area, they can always go to our website, toysfortots.org, and find out what's going on through our website in their particular area, and/or make an online donation. And so that's what I would ask them.
Right. And Lieutenant General, we will be having that posted throughout this interview where people can go. And I think what's really interesting, in addition to helping the millions of children in poverty, I also know it's an important message with Toys to Tots to inspire youngsters who are more fortunate to grow into more responsible, productive, patriotic citizens. And I think that's just as important as the gifts that the underprivileged kids are about to receive as well. I think that's really important messaging too.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. In fact, if I could tell you a story, a couple of months ago, I asked my staff, we have just stood up a pretty robust social media section and platform. And I told them, I said, I know that there are inspirational stories right now involving Toys for Tots out there. I said, find me some of those stories that we can showcase. And so they found me a story of 2 young children in Heartland, Texas, Christopher and Taylor Bracey. And they have been going out and supporting Toys for Tots on their own, with the support of their parents, of course. They're also involved in other community activities, and it just really impressed me. It inspired me to see these 2 children who have disabilities, by the way, get out, show leadership and community involvement to take care of less fortunate in their community. And so I reached out to them about a month ago, and we just came up with the idea, how about appointing them as youth ambassadors to Marine Toys for Tots program? And so that's what we did. And I just returned from Dallas, Texas, where I flew out yesterday and met with the family. It's the Bracey family. We have since referred to them as the Bracey Bunch here at the foundation. And we did an interview that will be showcased on some of our social media platforms with these two wonderful children. And so that's what I would like to catch on throughout America is, you know, the power of kids helping kids. I think it's a powerful message. And we would ask you, in fact, if you could showcase that for us as well.
We certainly will. We are always supportive of all the efforts. Lieutenant General, thank you so much for your service and for joining us at Nasdaq. We look forward to helping to share this story. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.